Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. Coming up, big changes ahead for mass transit. But first tonight, does anyone really know what time it is? Well, now in parts of Baltimore, all you have to do is look up. The massive clock on the historic Bromo Tower has now been restored, and joining us from inside the clock room is Tony Azzola with Azzola Building Rehab. Tony, thanks for being with us. Give us the details on this restoration project.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Jeff, for having me. The restoration project has been a project in the making for quite a few years. As for the clock portion, the clock broke about 2 years ago, and the little motor that used to drive all the giant hands in here came to a stop. And since then, the clock has been out of the building, being restored by an organization out of Maine, the Bowser family. And last week, I'm excited to say that the clock came back and is now running again on its own inertia with the pendulum, and it's quite a wonderful-looking clock at this point.
I understand it's bigger even than Big Ben in London in terms of the clock face, and a lot of the work was where you're standing, but some of it was outside the building in terms of the hands on the dial.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. So, yeah, the interior portions here that you can see with the camera are beautiful. They're all repainted and recast, and they look wonderful. But the tricky part was getting the 12-foot long hands back out through the windows and down the side of the building to be reattached to the actual drive shafts. And all that work took place last week, and I'm glad to say no hands came off the building while they were going back on.
So the one mechanism behind you, is that running all four sides of the building?
Yeah, that's correct. The central gears in the mechanism run all four faces simultaneously. And there's actually a little tiny clock that you can see, well, you probably can't see here, but on the other side here, there's a little tiny clock that tells you what time the hands are telling on the outside of the building.
Well, so it's been running now for a few days. Is it keeping good time?
So far, so good. Yeah, we're very pleased. The folks were here installing it for about 9 days, so it really took a long time to put all the pieces back together. The restoration was quite interesting. They actually took every single nut and bolt out of this room, including this tower, the free weights, and every piece of every, I should probably turn around, every piece of every clock mechanism was removed, including the hands. And they restored all the metal mechanisms of the clock and built new hands, which were significantly lighter than the hands that had been worked on over the years. And that was part of the issue, is that the old hands were so heavy that it was creating a burden on the actual gears themselves. So now everything is light and balanced and telling time just like it should.
Let me remind our viewers, if anybody has a question about giant clocks, you can give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You could also tweet your questions. Twitter address is @MPT News. So, Tony, this sounds like it was a lot of work, intricate work. What did this cost, and where did the money come from?
Well, it was several $100,000 to fix the clock itself. The money came through a series of donations and grants, but it was all obviously well worth it. And now everybody can tell time again, especially from Camden Yards. You can see the south face when you're down there in the stadium. You know,
I was thinking that, I mean, this is more than 100 years old, but it's kind of the original content marketing, where people in the olden days probably didn't have smartphones. If they wanted to know what time it was, you didn't have a pocket watch maybe, you would look up, you would see the time, and you would see the words Bromo Seltzer on the face of the clock. And if you went back far enough in time, the old Bromo bottle on the top of the whole thing, it is a very cool place.
Yes, it is. And in fact, I can tell you, when the clock stopped working years back, though I don't work for the folks who own and manage the building, we got a lot of phone calls letting us know that the clock hands were stopped. And now we're good to go.
Let's grab a phone call here. This is Dale in Carroll County. Dale, thanks very much for the call. Go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen. Is it possible to take a tour of the mechanism that we're seeing here?
Excellent question. What's the answer, Tony?
Yeah, Dale. Yeah, there are tours. So if you go online to the Bromo Seltzer Arts Tower, I believe it's .com or .org, there should be a schedule of when tours will be available for the building itself.
And I think it's a free tour, and I don't know if there's a way to do contributions, but yeah, there's a regular schedule, and that sounds like it'll be a lot of fun to check out. One of the upgrades that wasn't around 100 years ago, Tony, was LED lighting, and so now there's going to be the ability to change the color of the clock face.
Yeah, that's correct. In this room right now, we have a series of LED lights that just turned on literally seconds ago. And those lights right now are illuminating the clock faces in almost a cobalt blue color, which was the same color as the Bromo Seltzer bottle. And so, yeah, at this point now, the folks here at the Bromo Seltzer Arts Tower can change colors here and up on the roof as well with a series of LED lights.
Call from Montgomery County. This is Michael. Michael, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
You're welcome. My question is, could you tell a little bit more about the history of the clock, when it was built, who built it? Tell us a bit more about the original workings that went into the clock when it was first constructed, that type of information.
Michael, thank you very much. Tony, as best you can, what do you know?
Yeah, so I know a little bit about that, which is good, Michael. The clock was manufactured by the Seth Thomas clock manufacturer. It was installed originally in the building in 1911, and it ran by itself with a pendulum, I believe, until the 1950s, which is when they removed the pendulum that we see running right now and switched it over to a small motor to drive the clock faces. But it's an original. All the parts that we put back in here, but for a few of the drive shafts that had some damage to them, are original. So is the design. The shafts are still exactly the way they were from 1911. The bushings have been remilled and repacked with grease, and they all work much better now. But by and large, the clock went back in exactly the way it was when it was built in 1911.
Tony, before we go, this project is done, but your work there is not. There are more renovations ahead for the Bromo Tower.
Right. Right now we're in phase 2 of the restoration work here on the Bromo Tower. The clock was part of that. And the next part will be up on the roof. The cupola, which is the very top portion of the tower, will be restored starting in the next 2 weeks for about a 3-month period. During that period of time, we'll be restoring the masonry, as well as some of the structural steel that's seen some weathering over the years.
Very good. Tony Azzola with Azzola Building Rehab, now living in the clock tower space at the Bromo Tower downtown. Tony, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Coming up tonight, new efforts to improve your bus trip. We'll be right back.
Got an unused vehicle going nowhere? Donate it to the one place that can take you any place. Visit mpt.org/vehicles and support the programs you love on MPT.
The MPT app puts our programs right at your fingertips, so you can choose when to watch, what to watch, wherever you want to watch it. Download it now.
What happens in Japan and Asia matters to me. And with NHK World's newsroom in Tokyo, I get the news live from Japan right at the start of my day.
New ideas come out of Asia all the time. NHK Newsline reports on business, technology, and world events from Tokyo to Bangkok.
Once in the morning gives me a heads up on the competition.
Every hour on the hour, the news I want from Asia.
Watch NHK World now on Comcast Channel 268 and Verizon Channel 480.
Are you turning 70 and a half this year? If so, you generally have to start spending down your retirement account. Even the minimum distribution can place you in a sticky situation. Luckily, you can now use your IRA to make tax-free gifts. Gifts up to $100,000 will never count as income, but always make a difference. That's icing on the cake.
Make your gift for this year before December 31st. Visit mpt.org/support.
With us now in the studio is Kevin Quinn, the MTA's Director of Planning. Kevin, thanks for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Wholesale changes coming to the bus map in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Why?
Really big. So, you know, our bus network needs to be a lot more reliable for our riders. We need to provide a better service. And Baltimore Link is our effort to completely transform transit in the Baltimore region. We want to provide a better service. We want to connect better to the modes, the light rail, the metro, commuter bus, MARC train, you know, all the ways to get around. Our region has really changed dramatically over the last 50 or 60 years, and we need a transit system that reflects that.
How did the current transit system evolve? Was it just that over time different routes were added?
Yeah.
And without a whole lot of like 30,000-foot planning.
Yeah, so you know, it really evolved decades ago with the trolley lines, right? The start of the trolley lines, and then since then we've put in a metro line and a light rail, and we now run you know, MARC trains all the way from Perryville down to DC, and not once has someone stopped to say we should really take a moment and realign our bus system with all these great modes of transit that we have. We've never taken that opportunity, and this is the opportunity that we have to do that.
Some of that was done, I guess. I mean, out here in the burbs in Owings Mills, and really at any of the metro stops, you see all sorts of bus activity.
Sure, but no one ever, you know, we have a lot of the rail stations, we have some rail stations that have too much bus service. We have other rail stations that have too little bus service. And so, you know, the way that our region has changed, think about places like White Marsh or Towson or Owings Mills, and think about the places that maybe don't have the rail service. So, for example, just last June, we launched new express bus link services. And so these connect some great suburban areas for us. So, for example, under our previous bus system, to go from you know, White Marsh down to, out to Towson, you had to go White Marsh all the way to downtown, transfer on a bus, come over, come all the way back north to Towson. Makes absolutely no sense at all. So last June, we rolled out a new line going from Towson to White Marsh. Get you there in 45 minutes, what used to take 2 hours.
We have a map. Let's put the map back up for a second.
Sure.
And it's kind of the big view. Well, that's the closer view of downtown Baltimore, and everything's color-coded. I mean, it sort of looks like a, you know, hub and spoke kind of thing with, how radical is this?
Yeah, it's pretty radical. So yeah, let me talk a bit about the framework of the Baltimore Link system. So the backbone of the system are 12 high-frequency routes, what we call city link routes. When I say high frequency, that means they're coming every 10 minutes during peak hours and every 15 minutes during midday. So we lay down this new backbone of 12 lines that are coming really high frequency, pulsing in and out of the downtown. And one really cool thing that we've done is that each of these city link lines are connected with one another, as well as the light rail and the metro. So they all touch each other. So if you live on one of these lines, light rail or metro, you can transfer, you can get to anywhere else on one of these other lines with just one transfer.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about the big changes coming to Baltimore's bus network, give us a call. We'll have the number on the screen, or tweet your questions. Use the Twitter address @MPT News. So none of this has happened yet.
That's exactly right.
It all happens on one day in June?
Yes, overnight. So June 17th, Saturday, June 17th into June 18th, overnight, the bus lines will change. And so we've been really engaged with our riders. We got to get the word out. Folks are going to see new route numbers, new routes themselves, you know, where they're going differently. Another really cool piece of this project is a rollout of 5,000 brand new bus stop signs that will be unveiled overnight. So, you know, our current bus stop sign, it's just blue. It's got a white number on it. Doesn't tell you anything else. Doesn't tell you where it goes. Doesn't even say the MTA. Our new bus stop signs are, you know, state of the art. They have where they're going, how frequently they're running. You know, we have folks a lot of times waiting at bus stops in the middle of the day for routes that are running only during peak hours. We don't want that. We don't want that. We want our riders to have good information. And so those 5,000 bus stop signs will be unveiled overnight.
There must be some people out there who have a bus they take now, who maybe live in a certain spot because that bus connects to where they work, and that line's going to go away. I mean, how do you think about those people?
Well, I think, you know, with these high-frequency lines, one thing that we're hoping to do is really put in place a better, more reliable system. So, one of the reasons that we're really changing this has to do with sort of just the structure of the network as it is today. For example, we put way too many routes downtown. Baltimore and Fayette Streets, for example. Baltimore Street has over 800 buses a day. It's just far too many. Pratt Street has only 300. We need to even that out. And so by making changes of, say, spreading bus routes out on downtown streets, we're going to improve reliability throughout the entire system. That's going to help people to get places better and faster.
What's the feedback you've been getting? I know when this was first proposed, which is over a year now, the then mayor of Baltimore was not initially a fan. What's the relationship with city government at this point?
Yeah, it's a great question. We've had a really great working relationship with our Baltimore City Department of Transportation. We went out for an initial round of feedback, a first round of public feedback, and got around 1,000 comments. We've done a couple of additional rounds of feedback, and to date we've received around 4,500 comments on our plan. It's gone pretty well, and I think that what's happened, there's been this evolution of people understanding the system better. People saw it at first and said, whoa, this is mind-blowing, and so we've moderated a bit, and so I think people are a lot happier with it. Speaking of Baltimore City DOT, a couple really cool things that I got to talk about that we're doing. One are 5.5 miles of new dedicated bus lanes downtown. So they're down on Pratt and Lombard Street right now. You may have seen them, bright red lanes. And those are also going to be down.
It's more like rust color, I think.
It is. It's terracotta. Exactly.
It is, really?
Yeah. So,
but
we're trying to
get. It means I can't drive in that lane.
That's right.
Unless I'm making a right turn.
That's exactly right. Okay. It kind of, has some cuts in it, so that then you can make a right-hand turn. So, we're looking at new dedicated bus lanes on Baltimore and Fayette Streets, on Charles and St. Paul, on kind of the Gill, Gay and Hillen Street corridors. It's all in an effort to get our buses through the most congested area of our region.
Let's grab a phone call. Baltimore County, this is Pam. Pam, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Thank you. I was calling because I saw that on the map there were colors, and being in Baltimore County on western Baltimore County, I wanted to ask about the red line because I know that it had been discontinued. Is it going to be resumed?
Thank you very much. So the decision to not build the crosstown light rail, the red line, preceded this decision, but this doesn't have a whole lot to do with that, does it?
It doesn't. So there was a decision made not to move forward with this project, or with the red line. This project is really 100% focused on making our bus system better, and there have been folks that have recognized for decades that our bus system needs to be relooked at.
What do you expect to happen in terms of the number of riders or number of rides per day?
Yeah.
You hope it'll go up.
Well, I think our hope is that by putting out a better product, we may see ridership increases. Our focus right now is providing a good, reliable service. We want to provide a good, reliable product that people can count on day in and day out to get to work. That's the focus right now.
Michael in Anne Arundel County. Michael, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
I'm calling to find out what could be done to improve transportation from outlying areas such as Arnold, Savannah Park, Annapolis, to Johns Hopkins.
Thank you very much. So to get from those areas, what would you do?
Sure. So, a big part of Baltimore Link, a big focus is on Baltimore's bus system. Regional connectivity is something else we focused a lot on. And so back on...
we've built, historically, just to interrupt for a second, we've built a lot of things that don't connect, like the light rail and the metro don't connect, and the red line wouldn't have connected to anything.
Yeah. Well, the metro and the light rail do connect. They're just one block away from each other. And in a couple of places, they come pretty close.
It's not horseshoes.
It's not horseshoes. Yeah, I understand. Speaking of Annapolis, so back in March, we did roll out a new commuter bus line that runs from Baltimore to Annapolis and Annapolis to Baltimore. We just started that up. It's a fantastic new service. It actually starts over on Kent Island on the eastern shore, picks up folks in Annapolis, comes to Baltimore, and then again we have one going Baltimore-Annapolis. We also started a new commuter bus line getting Baltimore City residents up to Aberdeen Proving Ground. So that's a great new connection for Baltimore City residents working up at the base. We also did some enhancements to our commuter bus between Columbia and Baltimore, where we have a great popular service, and we added some trips there as well. So, I guess I'd advise the caller to check out our website, mta.maryland.gov, and see if that's a commuter bus that would work from them, that would get them to Johns Hopkins Hospital.
Right, but it can be done, and the idea is that you'd be able to get to the Baltimore Metro line, if nothing else, which goes right over to Hopkins.
That's exactly right.
Baltimore County, this is Ralph. Ralph, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Hi, my question's what will happen to what's going to happen with the specialty lines that serve areas used a lot by low-income workers, say to Stella Maris and north of the city, and say the Under Armour factory in Curtis Bay, the Amazon distribution center on Bruning Highway, those kind of things. Sometimes they're the only way low-income workers can get to those jobs if they don't have a car.
Ralph, great question. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. So, I focused a lot on those 12 color-coded CityLink lines, but we have a total of 65 lines in our system. Those 12 lines form the backbone of the system, but we supplement them with plenty of geographic coverage to a lot of the places that the caller just noted. Amazon, Under Armour's facility, Stella Maris, all of these are places that we will still go under our new system.
What was the process? You considered where Amazon is when you were looking at Bruning Highway, right?
Yeah, so we use a good bit of data. We use origin destination data, so we use what are called OD surveys, in addition to just employment data. We met with a lot of employers and got data on zip codes, where employees live, where they're coming from, where they're trying to get to. And then we took that information and really tried to build the routes around where people wanted to go. And again, this is about reimagining a bus network that hasn't been looked at in 50 or 60 years, and taking that data, giving it a good refresh, giving it a good look, and completely reimagining it.
Anne Arundel County, this is George. George, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. One would be approximately what percentage of their passengers do you think that this will impact, presumably to the good? And I'd also wonder whether the overall program provides any operational efficiencies, or whether it will increase your cost, and if so, how is it being funded?
Very good. George, thank you for the call.
So,
and I'm guessing it's going to impact 100% of your riders.
It will impact 100% of our riders, yeah. All lines change, if not in alignment, then in number and in frequency. So, a route that comes every 40 minutes could be coming every 30 minutes now. The CityLink lines will be much more high frequency than some of the lines that are out there today.
Overall budget for running the buses, next year versus last year?
Sure. So, this is funded with $135 million from Governor Hogan that, put into this as investment into this great project. That's spread between some operating and some capital, the operating over 6 years. So it adds some additional money in each of our years to the budget. And then the capital pieces go towards great things like dedicated bus lanes, transit signal priority, transfer facilities. We're even partnering with Baltimore City on their bike share program to have bike share docks near our light rail and metro stations.
So I'm guessing the day after this goes into effect, there's going to be a lot of stories in the news from people who've been dislocated one way or another, and there's going to be sort of a negative news cycle for some period of time. What made the situation such that you needed to do kind of radical surgery and do it all at once?
Yeah, I think if you were going out to a lot of the community meetings and having conversations with our riders, you talk to them and hear about how we need to provide a more reliable service. And so as we took a look at it, a transit system is much, it's like a human body, you can't just fix an arm, you can't just fix a single limb, it's all connected. And so when we looked at it, we said there have to be some systemic wholesale changes that happen to the system to make it more reliable.
Cheryl in Baltimore City. Cheryl, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hi, my question is particularly for Baltimore City. Are there going to be more benches that are sheltered on bus stops, as well as trash cans, so that people aren't exposed to the elements?
Great question. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. It's a fantastic question. So a big part of Baltimore Link is our transfer facilities that we're building. The big one that we're building is out at the West Baltimore MARC station, which is kind of our crown jewel of the system, where we're going to have additional benches and shelters. Throughout the system, we're going to have 200 bus shelters that go out throughout the system. We have 400 shelters today. That'll increase to 600. I'd also urge any community associations to check out our website, and we can give some contact info ago for our Adopt a Stop program, which has been really successful, and it's a great way for local businesses and local communities to adopt a bus stop or a bus shelter and help us keep it clean. We want to have a clean system for everybody.
They get some signage in return for that.
That's exactly right.
Very good. Carroll County, this is Laura. Laura, thank you for the call. Go ahead. Oops, let's try that again. Laura, you're on. Go ahead.
Yes, great. Hi, thank you. There are so many of us in Carroll County who commute into the city, scores and scores. I feel we're fairly ignored where bus lines and things like that are concerned. Is there any chance of this improving in the future?
Thanks very much.
We don't have any plans in the future to be extending bus lines out to Carroll County. I don't have a great answer for that one.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, in the last half minute we have, how people can get more information on a local basis where this is going to run.
Yeah, so best place for information right now is baltimorelink.com. We have so many resources for people. We have a comparative trip planner where people can put in where they're coming from, where they're going, and it gives them a comparison between what they'd take today and what they'd take in the future. We also have a form there where community associations can contact us to either get more information, or we're happy to come out and give a community presentation about how routes impact them on the local level.
Very good. Kevin Quinn with the MTA. Busy man, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thursday at this time on Your Money in Business, TV, print, and social, how surround sound is a game changer for companies. Join us Thursday at 7:30. For all of us at MPT, I'm Jeff Salkin. Thanks for watching and have a good night.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.